Thanks, Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak about the Nature Repair Market Bill, and I'm very happy to do so. It's a pretty exciting initiative and policy that we're very proud of. I come in a bit late. I didn't hear the first part of the honourable member from the Greens' contribution. However, I did want to speak on this. It has relevance to my electorate, it has relevance in our neighbours, and really glad to have the opportunity to speak on it. It's obviously a high priority for our government, delivering a nature-positive plan and establishing the nature repair market. This market is obviously going to make it a lot easier for businesses, organisations, governments and individuals to invest into projects and to repair nature. We all know that our natural environment is under great pressure. The Australian Government is committed to protecting 30% of Australia's land and seas by 2030, and I note that those same goals have been adopted globally under the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. These goals reinforce the findings of the 2021 State of the Environment report and its shocking story of environmental degradation, loss and inaction. We need significant investment in conservation restoration for a nature-positive future. Business and the private sector investment can contribute to reversing environmental decline if there's a way for that to occur, and that is what this provides. This was highlighted in the findings of the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act, reviewed by Professor Graham Samuel AC. Private companies, conservation groups, farmers and other landholders are increasingly looking for ways to achieve positive outcomes for nature. A recent report, prepared independently by PricewaterhouseCoopers, estimates that the market for biodiversity in Australia could unlock $137 billion with a B in financial flows by 2050. And we are responding to the demand in that with this bill. The nature repair market will be based on science and enable Aboriginal people, Torres Strait Islanders, to promote their unique knowledge on their terms. Establishing the market in legislation will ensure its ongoing integrity, encourage investment in nature and drive environmental improvements across Australia. The bill will enable the Clean Energy Regulator, an independent statutory authority with significant experience in regulating environmental markets, to issue Australian landholders with tradable biodiversity certificates, and those certificates can then be sold to businesses, organisations, governments and individuals. All landholders, including First Nations landholders, conservation groups and farmers, can participate in the market. Projects then will deliver long-term nature-positive outcomes through activities such as weeding, planting native species and pest control. They can be undertaken on land or water, including lakes and rivers, as well as marine and coastal environments. Open participation and extensive opportunity for project locations will support regional Australia, like where I'm from, and that will provide jobs and nature-positive economic activity. Good for the environment and good for the economy. The nature repair market will enable participation and create employment and economic opportunities, in particular for First Nations peoples, promoting and enabling free, prior and informed consent for projects on their land and waters. There will be opportunities to design projects that reflect the knowledge and connection to country of our First Nations people and to utilise their skills and knowledge for a nature-positive future. The market will operate in parallel with the carbon market, facilitated by having the same regulator. And that alignment will encourage carbon farming projects that also deliver benefits for biodiversity. And administrative efficiencies also will come with this approach, and also a clear and accurate oversight of claims made in both markets, the carbon market and the nature-positive market. Our government acknowledges a recent review of carbon crediting led by Professor Ian Chubb. Lessons learnt from the carbon market have informed the bill and will continue to be reflected upon as the environmental markets develop. The bill provides for biodiversity certificates to have integrity and represent an actual environmental improvement. Buyers can then invest in the market with confidence that it's not, as we would say in the Territory, gammon. It's real. The buyers investing with confidence will be ensured that with the integrity measures, such as the independent expert committee responsible for ensuring projects deliver the highest quality nature-positive outcomes underpinned by a consistent approach to the measurement, assessment and verification of biodiversity. The integrity of environmental outcomes is also enabled through assurance and compliance requirements. This includes monitoring, reporting and notification on the delivery of project activities and progress on the environmental outcome, i.e. it's proper. You did what you said you would do and the outcome for the environment is real. The regulator will have monitoring and enforcement powers to ensure the projects are conducted in accordance with the rules. The Nature Positive Plan reflects our commitment to restoring public accountability and trust that was so damaged in the last 10 years of the former government's governance. Transparency will be a core element of the scheme. Comprehensive information about projects and certificates will be available on a public register. Additional information will be regularly published by the regulator and there will be active release of relevant data by the Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water. This will enable Parliament and the public to monitor the scheme and provide an opportunity for citizen oversight. It will support certainty and value to the market. The Department is committed to working with the ACCC and ASIC to ensure that certificates issued in the nature repair market are not victims of greenwashing claims, that the statements made about certificates accurately reflect the projects and investment that they represent, and that projects in the carbon and biodiversity markets are not affected by misleading claims. Our government is committed to consultation and engagement on our environmental reform agenda. We have listened and will continue to listen to feedback on the design and operation of this market. We are working with First Nations people on a co-design approach for developing priority methods and supporting appropriate incorporation of traditional knowledge and management practices. The bill mandates public consultation on methods and the instrument for measuring and assessing biodiversity. The draft legislation establishes the Nature Repair Market Committee, and it is the committee that is responsible for providing advice to the Minister following the public consultation on the submission and their advice. Now, the committee will have 5 to 6 experts with substantial experience and significant standing in one or more areas of expertise, including agriculture, science, environmental markets, land management, economics or Indigenous knowledges, First Nations knowledges. The Nature Positive Plan presents a different approach to biodiversity offsets. It commits to offsets being the last resort, which we will enshrine in legislation. Our government is already designing and consulting on new national standards for matters of national environmental significance and environmental offsets. These will be legislated under the new Nature Positive laws. The standards will provide certainty and confidence in the use of biodiversity offsets under Commonwealth laws. They will no longer rely on averted loss, but protection and restoration of ecosystems that provide a nature-positive outcome where avoidance and mitigation cannot prevent a significant impact. Deputy Speaker, projects under the Nature Repair Scheme won't be used as offsets unless and until they meet the new standards. The nature repair market will be an opportunity to create supply of projects certified through purpose-designed offset methods. The register will be a comprehensive and public source of information on these projects and the biodiversity that they are protecting. The bill will establish a new market for investing in nature-positive outcomes. It will support Australia's international commitments to protect and repair ecosystems and reverse species decline and extinction that we all know are happening. It will generate investment and job opportunities for a nature-positive economy and create new income streams for landholders, including First Nations landholders and farmers. But as I said, all landholders, including First Nations peoples, conservation groups and farmers, can participate in the market. The rights and interests of First Nations people are recognised on approximately 50% of Australia's land area. First Nations people have cared for country for thousands of years, and the biodiversity we enjoy today is a product of their stewardship, their custodianship. The nature repair market is designed to enable participation by First Nations people and ensure, as I've mentioned, free, prior and informed consent to projects on their land. Projects could include traditional land management to protect and improve biodiversity, as well as land restoration. Landholders can undertake projects that improve or protect existing habitats, as well as projects to establish or restore habitat. So it's not just about repairing what is broken, but also protecting land that is in a good condition. A lot of First Nations land has never been cleared but still benefits from management activities and protection. So these projects, whether they be on land, inland waterways, or lakes and rivers, or in marine and coastal environments. There's many examples of projects, but some of them could include improving or restoring existing native vegetation through fencing or weeding, planting a mix of local species on a previously cleared areas, or protecting rare grasslands that provide habitat for endangered species. Deputy Speaker, I began by saying that caring for land and nature is core priority for our Labor government. And I'm particularly proud about two commitments that Labor made in my electorate of Solomon that demonstrate clearly this instinct. The first was our urban river commitment for catchment restoration projects across Darwin and Palmerston. The $3.82 million commitment was part of Labor's $200 million urban rivers and catchment program. Funded activities include revegetation, improvements in water quality, weed and invasive species management, the establishment of gross pollutant traps, native plantings and landscape rehydration and soil erosion mitigation works. I am incredibly proud that Labor is helping restore the health of Australia's urban rivers and catchments in Darwin and Palmerston, where we celebrate the value of our stunning natural landscapes and in particular our urban streams, creeks. And these are exactly the types of activities that the new market will incentivise right around Australia. A second commitment of which I'm also proud is the $9.8 million over 4 years that Labor promised to contain and eradicate dangerous gamba grass which infests itself in the Northern Territory. Gamba grass is one of the greatest environmental threats in the Northern Territory. Part of Labor's $9.8 million commitment is going to be scaling up the already successful work of the Northern Territory Gamba Army to remove the grass from public lands which present a fire risk to lives, homes and infrastructure. This commitment is helping keep gamba grass out of Kakadu National Park as part of federal Labor's ongoing commitment to protect Kakadu from the threat of invasive species. With these commitments, as with the nature repair market that will be created if this bill passes, and I hope it does, our government is showing that it has a clear nature-positive plan and that it is getting on with the job of delivering it. Mr Deputy Speaker, finally I'd just like to highlight the great work of Tierra Australia, which has been driving a proposal to deliver a scoping study and pilot projected at restoring the natural functions of the landscape in our dear friends, our neighbours and our friends in Timor-Leste. Not only will nature positive be good for our jobs and economies in my electorate and around Australia, it's also being embraced by our friends and near neighbours who have similar challenges. And I really hope that they too benefit from the great bonuses that will come from nature capital. Thanks, Deputy Speaker.